And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here is your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, welcome one and all to episode 812, the Cardinals edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, as your Seattle Seahawks get ready to take on those Arizona Cardinals on Sunday Night Football. So please put your tray table up, place your seat back in the full upright position, settle in with a desired center beverage of your choice, and what can I tell you? It's a 5-inch red Finch. So glad to be back here for our 186th episode. We'll keep doing this till we can do it right. Let's meet the posse for this episode. First, the yin to my yang, Matt from Merry Old England. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. How are you, sir?
Exhausted.
Exhausted, do tell.
Well, I have to keep explaining. I have to sort of do like training sessions for Americans to teach them how to turn off the "I have voted" on their Facebook.
Which you did for me, which I appreciate.
Yes.
Because I did vote, and I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook's harassing me.
You have to, yeah, exactly. And you have to do little icons and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I got it working. I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you for
You're welcome.
saving this America. I did America this week. I did vote. So
I did America.
I America'd. Someone else who I'm sure if he hasn't America'd, he's going to. And that's our news hound, Will, is here. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Good. Have you America'd yet?
I did. And, things are going pretty well. The retinal burns I suffered from the green jerseys have healed, and I can see again.
Thank God for that. And they're going to be gray, so it'll be a little bit easier on the eyes this week. So
just a smidge.
Just a smidge, yes. Speaking of just a smidge, there's Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, what's going on?
Sorry, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Real quick, I just want to give out the shout out to Tom Brady for being a better friend than Russell Wilson is to Antonio Brown.
Word.
Because I did not want that guy anywhere near our team.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. And before we ask how Kona is, I do want to share that, I log on for the show and Dustin is usually already on. And let me tell you something. This young man is poppin and lockin. There's some music coming out of that speaker of Dustin's. That is
most of the time.
That is pretty top notch, my friend. You had me breakdancing here in the studio. It was amazing.
I hope you feel better.
I do. I do.
Hurt yourself.
I feel better, especially because Tom Brady is a better friend than Russell Wilson is to Antonio Brown. But we'll talk about that later. Hey, let's go ahead and get this show started. Let's see how it's going to be run. Fat Tony.
Very well. Let's do this thing.
Yes, let's get this show started. The show's broken into 4 quarters and a halftime. Of course, quarter one, we will talk about any news with our Shadowhawk, with our 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report. Quarter two, we're going to talk about Seahawk news that's happened since we got together over the bye week. Halftime trivia, of course. Halftime is our trivia show, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
It was a little jumbled, but I got it out. You know why it's jumbled? Because Matt has won so many times, I can't even keep track. Matt, was it like 4 in a row, something? I don't even know.
I don't know. I think it's 4 in a row.
It's getting a little ridiculous. Somebody needs to go on a run starting tonight, and not Matt.
4 in a row.
Yeah.
I volunteer.
I won't try tonight. I'll let Will win or something.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be awful generous of you. Quarter three, of course, quarter 3 and 4, we talk about the upcoming game between your Seahawks and the Cardinals. Quarter 3, we have game info, we have injury reports, we have weather reports, we have fashion reports. We also have a mock game from Little Mo, who played the game on his PlayStation 4 this evening. And I'll tell you what the result of that game was. And then, of course, we put all that information and more together, put together fourth quarter for our predictions, our prognostications, and our game balls for that very game. Before we start, please like, share, and subscribe to Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We have a wonderful game day thread that we will be up and running during that game on Sunday. You'll want to come in and make some comments with us, share some fun. We're also on Twitter, Seahawk Positivity. Email 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. Check us out on iTunes and Podbean. Take us around with you. Take us when you're doing chores. Put us in your pocket of your iPhone. And enjoy us however you want, if you so desire. All right, let's get to the first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL. It's our news hound Will with the 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report, brought to you by our sponsor, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Cardinal Pellet Gun. Knock those pesky little redbirds out of your way permanently with the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Cardinal Pellet Gun. Bobby Wagner Redbird net sold separately. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, an old friend of ours has turned up in NFL circles again.
Oh, no.
Tournament's out.
Oh, my God. Who is it? Who is it?
Sadly, no.
Oh.
Malik McDowell.
Oh, I don't have a theme song for Malik.
Yes, well, he wasn't around long enough to have a theme song.
No.
As longtime fans know, we drafted McDowell in the second round of the 2017 draft. He
Yes.
injured himself in an ATV accident.
Yep.
Never played it down for us, never repaid his signing bonus, was arrested on charges of assault and resisting arrest, and served 11 months in prison with 3 years probation. But all of that is not enough to keep the Miami Dolphins from bringing him in for a tryout.
Wow.
So the Dolphins are potentially interested in Malik McDowell. So
Wow.
his football career may not be over yet.
Guess who's back? Back again. McDowell's back.
When you
Tell
say
a
his football
friend.
career is not technically over, it is the Dolphins, though, isn't it?
Well,
That's a good question.
3-3. I mean, it's not like he's trying out with the Jets or something.
Oh dear me, that's a garbage fire, dumpster fire of a team. That is.
So I guess you're asking, do the Dolphins count as football team?
Yes, always ask
Yeah.
that question.
That's a good question, and I think that's actually a perfect place for him because he was not he was not a pleasant person to the Seahawks in any way, shape, or form.
Or that police officer in the convenience store.
Yes, exactly. That film was some serious problems. So, I'm not going to wish him luck. I'll be honest with you. Usually, we wish him luck. Good. You know what? I'm sorry. I don't feel like a whole lot of luck wishing for Malik McDowell. I hope he gets his life back together, and I hope he has a nice life. But, I hope he doesn't do well with the Dolphins. I'm just going to say that.
Well,
I'm a
nobody
little bit-
does.
I'm a
Nobody
little
does well
salty.
with the Dolphins. Since Marino.
I'm a little salty tonight. I'm a little chippy and salty. Sorry. Will, what else you got for us?
Well, Moses, if you're feeling a little salty tonight, I think you'll enjoy this news item. Because, we've talked a lot about our own defensive struggles, so I thought it only fair to highlight some other teams' defensive struggles, so we can laugh at them for a change instead of us.
Yay.
First up, the Dallas Cowboys, who are giving up points this year at a historic pace. Through 6 games this year, they have given up 218 points. That's the most through 6 games since the merger in 1970, and it puts them on pace to allow 581 points over the course of the season. That would break the all-time NFL record of 533 points allowed, which was set by the 1981 Baltimore Colts.
Wow.
But wait, there's more. The New York Jets. They are on pace for the worst point differential in NFL history.
Yes.
Through 6 games, the Jets have been outscored 185-75. So that's a point differential of negative 110.
Golly.
And it is
Golly.
equal to the combined point differentials of the second and third worst teams. The Jaguars are negative 56, and Washington is negative 54.
Sweet.
Now, projected over the course of a 16-game season, and the Jets would be outscored by 293 points.
Beautiful.
That would be the worst point differential in NFL history, topping the current record of negative 287, held by the 0-14 1976 expansion Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes.
Whoa.
So the Jets have an opportunity to make some truly putrid history this season.
That's fantastic.
I got to admit, I'm kind of rooting for that because it'd be kind of cool.
That'd be awesome.
That would be way
Even
cool.
though, Jet stands for just end the season.
Oh, yeah.
And-
And Trevor Lawrence, if you're listening to this,
Oh,
dude,
God.
stay in school.
Run.
To yourself.
Yes, go to Canada. And, of course, the other team was the Cowboys. So all you can say about the Cowboys is this. Woo! How about them Cowboys?
Some serious glory hole action going on down in Dallas this year.
You think, given all the issues that the Jets have with everything and just generally not knowing how to do the football, you think they don't know how the draft works? You think maybe they think if they're that bad, they get the first 2 or 3 picks in the draft?
Could be.
I'm still laughing over
Could be.
the football.
I think it's a distinct possibility.
One of my favorite memories from last year when I came back from Charlotte was sitting in the airport watching Monday Night Football, I think it was, and it was the Jets playing the Patriots. And it was the Sam Darnold seeing ghosts game. And I just sat there just
Oh,
laughing
gosh.
for like I don't know, an hour and a half, and these blokes come going, "What's the score? What's the score?" And they look at me and, "Oh Jesus!" And they were just sitting there watching this game, just going, "Oh shit!"
Speaking of spectacular moments, did you all catch the wonderful run by the quarterback of the Giants last night?
Oh yes, that was great.
nice.
If you have not seen this, folks, it's all over the internet. It's fantastic. He was wide open, running down the field, no one within 5 yards of him. And even Buck said, and he's gone, because he was gone. And the Turf Monster got him at the 10, and he fell.
Monster.
It was fantastic.
They've
It
already
was
like
brilliant.
deep faked that into the Buffalo Wild Wings commercial too.
They did.
Yeah.
That was the best one. They used the Buffalo Wild Wings commercial, and they had a guy press a button, and he fell. Like they had something stick up in the ground.
Mhm.
And he felt act like that was beautiful. That was the best one of all of them.
But
So I said it's the most 2020 play ever, which I agree with.
Even Giants fans could laugh at that though, since they did end up scoring a touchdown anyway.
They did, but it would have been fantastic if they lost by 1 point and they had to kick a field goal. I would have
You
been.
know what kind of reminded me of though?
DK Metcalf.
No, John Ryan. You remember that when he like fumbled out of nowhere?
Yeah, the fake
yeah.
punt, and that was when against Arizona.
Fake point against the Rams. Fake
Oh, it
point
was the
against
Rams.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like a 40-yard run, but didn't he land on it though?
I don't
he got
remember.
drilled pretty good too.
Yeah,
We
but
were
I
kinda
think
worried
John
he got
landed
hurt.
on. I think he landed on his own fumble. We're like, oh my god, because he fumbled it, but I think he landed on it. But yeah, I remember that wide open, like for 40 yards. There was nobody even around him.
Yep.
That was
You
pretty
got too
awesome.
excited.
You gotta love John Ryan. He had so many amazing plays, and he
Yeah.
always managed to make himself look like a doofus every single
kidding.
time.
You did.
Well, we didn't bring it up with our friend Sarah Colonna. I don't know, but that was awesome.
That would be kind of fun if she comes on again to ask her about like
The run.
what his thoughts were about those plays if he talks about it at home at all. Or
Well,
being a comedian that she is, she probably gives him a lot of shit about it when she gets. a
I'm
chance.
sure. I'm sure she does. A big football fan as well. But yes, thank you, Will, for the wonderful news.
Anytime, Moses.
All right, that's the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Yes, coming up on this wonderful Sunday night Cardinal edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam show. So much show left. Cardinal game weather, fashion, injury reports, predictions. But next, we're going to take a look at some Seahawk trade rumors and the state of the division. And we're going to do that right after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
That's the fact, Jack!
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Hey, look, it's the second quarter of episode 812 of your 12-Man Fan Jam show. The best pregame tradition since beer pong. You play a lot of beer pong, do you, Dustin?
I used to for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
That is a fun tradition.
Now, let me ask you something, because when I played it here in Indiana, they don't. I always thought you had to bounce it into the cups.
No, that's
Yeah.
it. So with most people and how they play, you just throw it into the cups.
Yeah.
But if you are able to bounce it into the cups, the team whose cup you're trying to bounce it into can swat it and block it.
That's what we said here, but I like playing it where you have to bounce it in. It's a little harder.
It is, and
It's a
they have to
regional
drink 2
variation.
cups if you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But, of course, I played for Kool-Aid, but, we won't go
teach
into
their own.
Mixed with vodka.
a little bit, yeah. Like my Jell-O shots. I had green Jell-O shots that were good, so the kids could take the green Jell-O shots because they were just Jell-O. But the blue were bad. So green good, blue bad. And the blue ones
Nice.
were... Yeah, last time I did that, it's a true story before we go on, I'll share this. Last time I did the Jell-O shots was the playoff game between the Seahawks and the Saints when the Seahawks were 7-9, and of course, the Beastquake run. And I took one every time the Seahawks either sacked a quarterback or forced them to punt or scored a touchdown. Or a turnover.
Wow.
And so it was 43-39. So I kind of remember the Beastquake run. I was kind of there for that.
I think saying you're running out of Jell-O shots at halftime, huh?
I was feeling pretty good. I will tell you that. Yeah. So anyway, enough of beer pong and Jell-O shots. Let's talk about some possible... I know, we got to move on. We'll talk about some possible Seahawk rumors and some things that have happened over the last week. And we'll start with something that I think is a positive, and that's adding Michael Kendricks back to this team. Dustin, they signed Michael Kendricks back as a linebacker. What are your thoughts on getting him back?
Well, I have a couple thoughts about it. One, I think it's a good signing. He looked really good on the team last year. He fit right in. He was able to play a solid role for us. His injury was pretty terrible, so I feel bad for him about that. But then I wonder, I think they feel better about the slot position this year and the play they've gotten from there. So hopefully they don't fall back into that base defense nonsense that was going on last year.
That's what I'm afraid, but I hope not. Yes.
Yeah, because they made it sound like he was too good, so they didn't want to take him off the field. But they may have just been saying that to cover for the fact that they didn't trust anybody to cover in the slot. So
I hope that's the case.
yeah, same here. But he's back and definitely good signing. He's not going to be up this week though. Pete said he's got to get some practices in and kind of get his football legs under him more or less. So it'll be a couple weeks before we actually see him play.
Well, he's actually on the roster. He will be suited up.
He's on from what I understand, I was just reading before the show here. From what I understand, he's still on the practice squad and he's not playing.
Well, what I had read yesterday, it may have changed, but I thought Pete said he was going to be as an emergency player, but he wasn't going to play, but that he was going to travel with them. But maybe not. Maybe they changed their mind.
You might be right. I might not have read far enough down before we got going here.
Well, you get distracted by big words and no pictures. I know that.
It's hard.
But yeah, I know. But yeah, anyway, the point is he's not going to start right away. We both, he's definitely not going to start. And he's either going to be in Arizona or he's not, but he's probably not going to play anyway. So it doesn't matter if he's on the sidelines or not. But I agree with you. I think it's a good pickup as long as they don't get too carried away with it. Will, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm pretty much positive that the whole base defense saying, "Oh, Kendricks is just too good," was just Pete speak to cover up for the fact that we didn't have a Nickelback worth a damn last year. So look at that photograph. But I get it. But I like bringing Kendricks back. I'm glad we're not bringing him back because Brooks' injury is lingering. Carroll said that Jordan Brooks is going to play on Sunday and get a lot of playing time. So that's good. I'm glad we're not bringing in Kendricks because Brooks was more badly hurt than we thought. But yeah, good player, good depth, guy who can start if needs be, makes our linebacking core that much stronger. The thing I don't get is his sentencing was pushed back again. It's now, I think, January 15th, 2021.
Yeah.
At this point, why even bother?
Yeah.
Just say, look, we're giving you probation.
Yeah, basically, it sounds like that's going to happen. I mean, keep pushing it back. So, they're not in any hurry.
But yeah, I think that was a good pickup for us when we brought him in the first place.
Yes.
And it's proven. I mean, he hasn't gone to jail, and it just makes too much sense not to bring him in if he's healthy.
Well, and for people who don't know, it's for insider trading. It's not like he was abusive to his wife or he was drunk and disorderly. He did it, which is still a crime. That's not belittle it, but it's certainly not domestic abuse. It was insider trading.
He's kind of the Martha Stewart of the NFL in that regard.
Yeah, basically, which is still a crime. But let's not. You say he's court date.
Throw the book at him.
No
doubt. And actually, well, congratulations. That's the best use of a Nickelback lyric I've ever heard in my life. Well done.
That's not saying much, Moses.
No, it's not. Well played. Matt, your thoughts on Mr. Kendrick?
Who the hell spells their name Michael with a Y? It's just the first thing that always comes to my mind. It's just bonkers because it's just not the right spelling. It's Michael, and it's like, well, how the hell do you say that? Because it's not Michael. I don't care what anyone says. It's not Michael. It's Michael.
We do it how we want over here. You know that.
Michael Kendrick. It's like, oh my god, all these wonderful letters, and you just butcher it every single time. Yes, if this leads to a 4-3 defense-based thing going on, then I'm turning off for the season. I'm done. I'm not watching it again. I'm just not watching it. Not again. It was horrific last year. I don't want to see it. We had 28 sacks, I think, last year in total, didn't we? And 3 of them must have come from Kendrick. Yeah. So therefore, no, it's got to be a good signing in that sense. Although I have to swear, I honestly thought that he was still recovering from his ACL. So I wasn't really aware that he was back to such fitness. But that's great news if he is. And I mean,
technically he's still recovering, but he's able to get up and go. He was practicing a little bit, so.
It was late in the year, though, wasn't it? It wasn't an early injury. So, I mean, it was amazing.
It was the playoff game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
I can't remember.
Anyway, I think it's a good signing. I think anything that helps us get at quarterbacks and helps to slow down defenses and slow down offenses is a good thing. So yeah, let's do it. Let's sign up. But can we just change his name to a proper spelling? That would be great. Thanks.
I have this image of Matt as John Cleese, and John Cleese is in Pete Carroll's office, and he's like, Kendricks is back. And Pete says yes. He goes, base defense then. He says yes. And John goes, right, get out, get out. Get out.
I can't. Not another 4-3 based nonsense all year. I can't.
No.
I
don't think so. I don't think
don't
so.
think we're going to see it.
I don't think they have those kind of high expectations for a guy who's been out for a while. But I think you guys are right. I think it was just coach speak. I hope so. And if so, shoo. And speaking of shoo, huge news just breaking before we recorded this evening. Huge. It's big news. It's the biggest news. We have the biggest news on this show. Antonio Brown, who was this close to being a Seahawk, so the media tells us, has signed with the Buccaneers. Thank God. He has signed with the Buccaneers. And I could not be happier to report that news, let me tell you. Dustin, did you want Antonio on this team? And we've talked about this a lot, but sometimes people's views change. Dustin, did you want Antonio on this team?
Antonio Brown? No,
Antonio
definitely
Brown.
not Antonio Brown. I'd take Banderas over Brown.
I wouldn't even take that. Well, he could play lineman, I guess, because he's kind of pudgy now. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think any player where the Hollywood police has to issue a statement that says we do not want him to continue to affect our youth or influence them in a negative way about their own youth league, and just refuse and actually issues a restriction so he can't even enter their premises. This is not somebody that you want on your team. I mean, he was charged with a felony burglary, and I'm not saying our players are clean, all right, because we've all had players that are a bit suspect that we wouldn't want to see in a Seahawks jersey. But I just think that there are some crimes you can't overlook them. You just can't, and especially when you plead no contest to things like burglary and battery and that sort of stuff. No thanks. I mean, I understand why he's going to go and play with Tom Brady. I understand that because thieves and cheaters together in one place, it makes perfect sense. But not here.
Will, your thoughts?
Well, you look at Antonio Brown's history, and there's two possibilities. One, either he's a narcissistic asshole with an entitlement mentality, in which case, why bring him into a wide receiver room that's pretty damn good already? I mean, we've got a budding all-pro receiver in DK Metcalf. This is not a position of need. Or the guy has some mental health issues that he needs to deal with, in which case it's not just dumb, but frankly irresponsible to put him back in a situation that he had trouble in earlier. So I don't
100% agree.
I don't think, he's an adult and can do what they want. Buccaneers can do what they want. But honestly, I think he needs to take a couple of years away from the game like Aldon Smith did, get his mind right, and then give it a shot.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Kind of a crazy thing, though, to think about Tampa Bay right now. I'm pretty sure that the Lightning won the Stanley Cup. They got the Rays in the World Series. They got Tom Brady down there. Now they're bringing Antonio Brown. That's a weird. And they're open for everything because it's Florida. So they're living it up down there.
Florida, enough said.
But Dennis, they're just players that you don't. I mean, Michael Vick. I never want to see Michael Vick in a Seahawks jersey just because of the dogfight and stuff. I never want to see him in that.
Yeah.
Don't want to see it happen. And this is another one. I even had reservations with Frank Clark with the whole domestic abuse allegations and stuff that were going on for him. So there are just some things where you just I cannot hold my nose and say, yeah, okay, fair enough. Whatever. I mean, I know Marshawn Lynch got done for hit and run back in 2008 years ago. There are players. No one is 100% holier than thou. Maybe Russell Wilson's an exception. Who knows? But I just can't hold my nose and accept that sort of play. I just can't.
There's a difference between a mistake and an established pattern of behavior, too. Okay. And Brown has an established pattern of behavior. Okay. Some guys just make mistakes. He's not making. At some point, it's not a mistake anymore. This is just who you are and how you do things.
And it's tragic because he's a phenomenal player. It's tragic in that sense.
Well, I think the most ridiculous thing of this whole scenario is the fact the Seahawks are 5-0 and they have the number one ranked offense in the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's not like, if he was a defensive player, we'd probably have a different discussion.
Well,
this reminds me. So in the Army, I don't know if on the civilian side you guys have these things. I'm sure you do. But in the Army, we talk about how, when something's broke or something's not broke, you don't want to fix it, right?
Yeah.
And so you get these, we call them the good idea fairies. They come in and they're like, oh, everything's working great here. Let's change some shit because they have a great idea.
Yes.
So It's what it sounded like to me, is that maybe somebody was acting like a good idea fairy, talking about bringing him to Seattle. And I'm going to say this good idea fairy is probably Russell Wilson, and I'm glad it got overruled.
Well, and I think the only thing I could say about this, now Little Mo wanted him and thought it'd be a great idea, but we argued about it all week. In fact,
was his main argument that it would help my Madden game a lot?
Probably, yeah.
Just checking.
That's probably what it was. No, but seriously, we argued about it all week, and I said the only saving grace that I have of this whole thing is if it happens, and none of us control whether it did or not. If he's a Seahawk, we do know one thing about Pete Carroll is his tolerance is low for that kind of stuff. You know, he's going to welcome you in and give you a second chance. But if you start showing up late, you're out. And one of the guys on TV made a good point. It's halfway through the season, so you're getting him on pennies on the dollar anyway. And so if he shows up for a week and you win that week, I mean, maybe he contributes. Is he going to contribute to a loss? Probably not. So you bring him in, he contributes for a game or two, and then he's a jerk and you kick him out. Okay, so you got a couple wins with him. I kind of see that, but overall, I'm just really glad it didn't happen.
There was a story on Twitter that was going around. I think it was Field Goals that was saying, how are you able to maintain a moral, compass in a team that claims, Russell Wilson and all that sort of stuff, and then stick that man in a jersey? I don't see it. I mean, we might have a different conversation about whether somebody wants to be in a locker room or not. If you're having a defensive conversation about someone like Earl Thomas, would we sign Earl Thomas back to help us with our defensive issues? And you will get a debate there. I think there is some issue. There is some pros and cons to that whole move. But I just don't see. And I know he's a phenomenal player, but I just think, my God, you're basically introducing poison into your locker room.
Yeah, you are. I agree. All right, fair enough, guys. I agree with you. That'll be enough for the news and for the Seahawk news. And now we're going to go to halftime.
Holy shit! It's halftime.
All right, coming up, so much more show. Cardinal game information aplenty, game score predictions. But first, another rousing rendition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia. And that is coming up next.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
Of the world!
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Matt and Dustin, and here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-Man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, those are the rules, gentlemen, as you well know. Now it's 3 rounds this evening. Mono-e-mono,
yep.
1-on-1.
Yep.
And so we'll let Matt decide. Matt, are you going to be odd or even?
Oh, I am so odd.
Matt is odd. So Matt will have questions 1, 3, and 5. Dustin will have questions 2, 4, 6, and then we'll have a final question worth 2 points. And hopefully that will, if it's not 3-0, if it's 3-0, we'll make it 3 points. We'll worry about that later. Here we go. Matt, are you ready?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how many times did the Seattle Seahawks defeat the St. Louis Cardinals? The St. Louis Cardinals, how many times? 0, 1, or 2?
Ooh.
And dance. How many times did the Seahawks defeat the St. Louis Cardinals? 0, 1, or 2?
I think it was 0.
Ah, he thinks 0.
Problem is, I can't think now whether it's the Phoenix. Well, I'm thinking about the Phoenix Cardinals or whatever the hell they were called next.
Well, Little Mo and Mosette both said 2 times, and you said 0.
I did.
Yeah, 0.
Yes!
Good job, Matt. You are on the board.
They're bored.
Dustin?
Yeah.
How many times did the Seahawks defeat the Phoenix Cardinals? The Phoenix Cardinals, 0, 1, or 2?
How long were they even the Phoenix Cardinals?
I can't tell you that.
That is not helpful.
No, it's not. I'm very unhelpful.
Oh, I don't know. I'll stick with the theme. How many? Wait, the option was 0 an option?
0, 1, and 2 are options.
All right, yeah, I'll stick with the theme. I'll go 0. Worked for
Okay.
Matt.
It's
Okay.
a 0-sum game.
He's going 0 with the Phoenix Cardinals. Mosette said 0. Little Mo said 1. Nobody said 2. Doesn't matter. It's 0. They never beat the St. Louis Cardinals or the Phoenix Cardinals. Isn't that weird?
The saddest trivia ever.
It is.
Sucks bad.
It'll get better. Question 3, Matt. A little bit of history for you. You a history fan?
Not really.
Okay, good. The Cardinals football franchise was established in 1898. In what city was the Cardinal football franchise established? Was it Cleveland? Was it Chicago, Cleveland, or St. Louis? Chicago, Cleveland, or St. Louis? 1898. Where was the Cardinals football team established?
I'll ask the kids on that one.
All right. Mosette said Cleveland. Little Mo said St. Louis. Nobody said Chicago.
I'll have to go with my plan as ever. Then I'll go with Chicago.
God, you just diss my kids all the time.
Diss your kids.
It worked. You got it. 2-1.
Somehow I actually knew that answer, and as soon as he said it, I knew it was right.
Oh, well, good for you. Let's see if you know this one.
I've heard it somewhere before.
How about, I think you'll know this one because this is all over the internet, so you'll probably get this one. When was the last time the Seahawks lost to the Cardinals, Arizona? 2010, 2012, or 2014?
Well, I actually have no idea.
Oh, really? It's all over the internet.
He only follows the wins.
Yeah, I have not been paying attention.
No.
Last time we lost to them, what were the options again?
2010, 2012, 2014 in Arizona.
Oh, 2014.
2014. Mosette said 2010. Little Mo said 2012. You said 2014. Nah, it's 2012. Russell's first game as a starter, by the way.
Oh, that game.
Yeah, that
Baldwin
game.
had 2 chances to catch the ball in the end zone.
Right.
He didn't, and then
Busted
he ended up
his
having to have
teeth.
dental surgery.
Yeah, right. Busted his
Yeah.
teeth. Matt,
Yes.
how many times have the Cardinals won the NFC West division? The NFC West, how many times? 1, 2, or 3? How many times have the Cardinals won the NFC West? 1, 2, or 3?
Don't really pay attention to the standings of other teams. And I've already asked before with a friend. I'll do 2.
He'll do 2. Lomo Mosette said 3.
Good.
You said 2.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 3. Take that. It's 3. 2008, 2009, 2015.
Well, I wouldn't have gone for 3 had I even asked for 3.
I wouldn't have either. All right, Dustin. 2-1. Here you go. The last time the Seahawks played the Cardinals in Arizona, how many times were both Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray sacked? They're both sacked the same amount of times. Was it 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times?
Oh, probably 3.
Oh, I guess it was 3. Little Mo said 4. Mosette said 5. You said 3. Now it's 4. 4 times. 4 times.
Dang it.
Yeah. So as we sit right now, it is 2-1, Matt. But Dustin, do not cry. You know why?
Why?
Time for a final question.
Question.
Final question. Worth 2 points. It is a high-low. Whoever's closest without going over gets the 2 points and is crowned 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia champion. of the world for this episode. All right. It is a number. It is not a decimal, Matt or Dustin, so you don't have to worry about that. The order will be Dustin goes first, Matt goes second. Here is your question, your final question for this evening. And Dustin, it is this. The last time the Seahawks beat the Cardinals in Arizona was 2019, which was last year. No, yeah. How many receiving yards did Will Dissly have in that game? Uncle Will, how many yards receiving did Uncle Will have in that game? Led the team in reception yardage. How many yards did Will Dissly have in 2019 against Arizona?
Let's see. I'm trying to think of which game he got hurt at because that would have drafted.
It might have been this game. I don't remember.
No, it's the Cleveland game.
Was that?
Okay, Cleveland game.
Ooh, okay. Leading receiver. How about 112? 12 is a good number.
112. Matt?
1 yard.
1 yard. He prices righted you. Well, the amount of yards that Will Dissly had in that game was 57.
He really threw me off by saying
Here we go again. Matt, order up another trophy, my friend.
Hold on, there you go. On its way.
Awesome.
Amazon.
Congratulations again. I tell you, we're going to have to start changing the rules or something. I don't know.
What, the Matt loses?
Oh, man. You must be, I think you're inflating your balls. But we won't go into that right now. Instead of doing that, we'll say thank you for another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
of the world.
of the world. We'll be right back with the second half of the show after this. Golden Girls, do us all a favor. For Matt, for all of us. Thank you for being a friend. Take us out.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Odd bit of trivia. Dissly didn't suffer an injury last year in Arizona, but in 2018 in Arizona, that's when he suffered that year's season.
I knew that.
So.
I knew that. Something about Dissly in Arizona. I hope it didn't happen this year, but something about Dissly in Arizona.
Dissly, it's just weird things in Arizona, man.
We've had a lot of guys get hurt in Arizona. Let's hope we get through this game, okay?
Oh, that's a terrible thing to say before that game, but you're right. Yes. And congratulations, Matt, again.
Thank you.
I don't know what to do. I mean, you're just dominating. Just dominating as much as Seahawks are.
They're unlike me.
Listen to him. So full of humility. And as we go into the third quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, hey, you! Yes, you, switching your Sunday plans around for the game because of the time change. Like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Please join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We have a great game day thread during the game. You can join us watching the game and our amazingly over-the-top comments, especially by me. Do it now before they make it a Monday night game, because who knows, by tomorrow it may change. All right. It's time to get you ready for that Sunday night game between your Seattle Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals, 8:20 Eastern Standard Time, 5:20 p.m. on the West Coast. Matt, 2-3 in the morning, what we got?
That's going to be 12:20 in the morning because the clocks have gone back an hour.
12:20 a.m. for our friends in foreign lands. And we do have friends in foreign lands, and we want to thank them for listening. It's time to see what happens when Little Mo played this week's Seahawk game on his PlayStation 4 in Little Mo's mock game challenge. And guess what, guys? I was thinking he needs a theme song, right? So here is Little Mo's mock game challenge theme song. That's right, baby! Little Mo's mock game challenge, and that's his theme song. All right. Unfortunately, we have bad news to report from the world of PlayStation 4, where the Seahawks down 10 in the end of the fourth quarter, start of the fourth quarter, fought back to tie the game at 24, only to lose in overtime to Arizona 30-24. Halftime, it was 14-14, though. Here's some of the stats from that game, and we will put these up on the board, game day board. We can compare these next week. Wilson, 27 out of 45 for 331 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Lockett, 11 receptions, 129 yards, and a touchdown. Welcome back, Tyler. Metcalf, 6 receptions for 64 yards, also the touchdown catch. Carson, 9 rushes for 37 yards. Interesting. Wagner, 15 tackles. Mayoa, a sack, and Amadi, an interception. For the Redbirds, Murray, 27 to 37, 276 and 2 touchdowns and interception. Drake, 21 rushing yards for 73 yards. And that's pretty much all on that side. So hopefully this is just, an oversight on PlayStation 4's part. But we will check that next week, of course, because we always check how Little Mo's mock game compares to the real thing. So you'll be listening to that second quarter of next week's episode 813. But back to episode 812, because we have so much more to tell you about. And what we do now is we see how healthy these teams are by turning to our own doctor, Dr. Dustin, with the 12-Man Fan Jam Show injury report. Dr. Dustin, tell us the news.
Doctor, give me the news.
All right. Well, this week we are starting with the Arizona Cardinals. They don't have anybody listed as out. They do have, I believe, 6 players listed as questionable. Defensive lineman Jordan Phillips has a foot injury. He did not participate in practice. They don't sound too optimistic about him playing. You have linebacker Kyle Fitz and linebacker Dennis Gardick. They're both limited participation in practice. Fitz has a hamstring injury. Gardick has a foot. I think those guys sound like they're closer to playing. Outside. Kevin ankle injury. He was limited in participation in practice, but I think they're anticipating him playing. Then we got cornerback Drake Kirkpatrick has a foot injury. He had limited participation. And then here's the big one for them. DeAndre Hopkins has an ankle injury.
Ooh.
He did not practice in Tuesday, Wednesday practices.
Ooh.
Or Wednesday, Thursday, whichever days they do it there. And then he was very limited in practice today. So they're not sure. He sounds like he's going to be a game time decision.
Wow.
Yeah. So
they only do it certain days in Arizona?
Yeah, that they do their own thing down there. They don't even do daylight savings time. So they're their own world.
Interesting.
All right. So then for the Seattle Seahawks, unfortunate news on the players that are out front. Jamal Adams is not going to go. He can't play. He's not even traveling. He's going to stay home and watch TV in his helmet on the couch again.
Yeah.
Then we have one questionable player. Micah Potty, he's got that back injury he's been dealing with. He hasn't had a lot of progress with it. They're not sure how that's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised if they sat him again.
Yeah.
Now we have some notable mentions here that we talked about before. First of all, there's no snacks for the trip.
Oh, boo. Who didn't bring snacks?
He's staying home. They're still working on him, getting him ready to play. Michael Kendricks, like we talked about earlier, he's closer to playing than I thought. I went back and read again, but it doesn't look like he's probably going to play this week. Or if you remember, Rasheem Green had that. He was on IR. He had that stinger injury. He might come back to practice next week. He didn't quite make it back this week, but apparently he was close.
Oh, good.
Yep. And then Philip Dorsett, they're very vague on him being able to play or not. They said his foot is still – he's out there. He's flying around and running around was the quote that Pete had. But it sounds like he's making up a bunch of BS for his foot. I think they're just kind of holding the guy and they're probably not going to use him until there's an injury or something. Then they'll probably bring him up a wide receiver. It seems a little shady at this point with him.
Be a little shady.
Then one last note is the NFL still hates Josh Gordon.
Wow. Yeah. Dang it. All right.
Yep. That's all I've got.
That was awesome. That was a great way to end it. Well, it wasn't a great way to end it, but yeah, we get your point. That's too bad about Josh Gordon, but well, it's been way worse many times, but it sounds like guys are at least getting on the mend a little bit there, Dustin.
A little
bit. All right. So let's take a look at how the weather's going to be for the game by turning to a guy living in England. It's time for the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Weather and Fashion Report with Matt from merry old England. Oh, Matt!
It's raining man.
Yes, thank you, Moses. So we're heading to the State Farm Stadium, a dome down in Glendale, Arizona. So once again, I am completely powerless and pointless in this segment. Weather is not a consideration, not even an afterthought. So because it doesn't matter, I thought I would give you the weather for Glendale on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. The originator of the name Glendale was where it all came from. There will be rain all day with temperatures of 51 degrees with 31 mile an hour winds from the south. There will also be lots of sheep and lots of strange men in tartan skirts, screaming insults at any English bastards that happen to be nearby. What to wear for this game? Well, Halloween is fast approaching. For those Hawk fans heading on down to Arizona, you're in for a treat. You get to dress up in some of Arizona's most famous residents. You could throw a tea towel over your shoulder and pretend to be Ted Danson from that bar where everybody knows your name. You could go really scary and dress up as Phoenix's own Alice Cooper and relive the whole famous Toronto chicken incident.
Oh, great incident.
All you need to do is get a chicken, and throw it at 5 rows of wheelchair users.
Yep.
Look it up, kids. I wouldn't make this shit up.
Oh, it's true.
But if it was me, if I was going to this game, well, there really is only one choice for me. That's right. I would honor the current American political situation by going as Arizonian gaff-prone former Vice President Dan Quayle.
Yep.
I'd wear a nice suit. I'd wear a nice tie. And I would make random, totally insane speeches laden with incomprehensible gaffes, zingers like, I have made good judgments in the past and I have made good judgments in the future. Or my special favorite of his, the Holocaust was an obscene period in our nation's history. No, not our nation's, but in World War II. I mean, we all lived in this century. I didn't live in this century, but in this century's history. You know what I mean? Then smile like a child awaiting a pat on the head.
Beautiful.
And a cookie. And a glass of milk.
And a potato with an E. Remember that?
And just make sure you throw a Hawks jersey over that, and you are good to go. With all that being said, it looks like it's going to be perfect Seahawks weather. So Moses, it's back over to you.
Fantastic. And I whenever I can share some trivia, especially music trivia, and you mentioned Alice Cooper, who's from Arizona, and the whole chicken incident. The whole chicken incident is this. He was in Toronto. Someone threw a chicken on the stage. He said he grew up. They came from Detroit, the band. His story is, he tells it like this. He says, we're a bunch of guys from Detroit. We see wings. We figure it's a bird. It's going to fly, right? So he says, I pick it up and I throw it, and it just goes right into the 5th row. And he's like, oh, it didn't fly. And he says, all of a sudden, here comes a wing. Here comes another wing. Here comes the head. Here comes a foot. And the crowd's tearing it apart, right? Next day, headlines, Alice Cooper rips chicken apart, right? And he goes, oh, my God, gets a call from Iggy Pop. Oh, my God, man, did you really do that? Did you rip a chicken in half? And he goes, no. And Iggy goes, whatever you do, don't tell anyone because it's great press. And that's the whole That's the whole chicken story from Alice Cooper. Sorry. I love sharing stuff like that.
As my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Yeah.
I don't know about turkeys.
WKRP, lovely. Great job, Dustin, and great job, Matt.
Thank you. And now, please be upstanding and welcome our own Reverend Moses from the St. Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity for his sermon for this upcoming game. Oh, Reverend.
Yes! It is I, the self-appointed Reverend Moses, the St. Paul Allen Church Seahawk Positivity. How is everyone doing today?
Doing fine, thanks, Reverend.
Oh, it's so good to hear all your bright and cheery voices. I missed you all last week. I did. Everyone had a nice off week, I hope, from football festivities. I'm sure you did.
We did.
You did. I took the week off and tried to get our church organist, Cleolanda, to engage in a more safe and healthy life alternatives. But that woman is a walking drugstore. She is. It's disgusting. She makes Keith Richards look like Mr. Rogers, but I digress. Let's get some church up in here, friends. I am so glad to be once again here as we return back on the road to the promised land, well rested in the one true power of Seahawk Positivity, reading from the book of the 2020 NFL season, chapter 7, verses 3 to 12. They did then return upon the road, but the road led them to the southwest and into the land of deserts and wolves. But they themselves were clothed in gray like wolves and did stalk the 5-inch red finches. And those birds were no match for those in the one true power of Seahawk Positivity, and the gray birds did rise up and ground those red birds into the desert. And there was much rejoicing throughout the land. Yes, This is the word, my brethren. Oh, we do have a power that flows within us all. Can you feel that power of Seahawk positivity travel through you? Can you feel it?
I just thought it was gas. But yeah, I
Well,
can feel it.
it's a little bit of both for some of us if we had some beans. But come on, raise them hands up if you feel it. Raise them. Raise them like you found a scorpion in your bathroom and he's advancing on you. Those little scorpions. They got scorpions down in Arizona. They're going to chop your fingers right off. It's disgusting. But raise your hands. Now, if your hands are raised and you believe in the power of Seahawk positivity, let's hear an I'm in nice and loud.
I'm in.
Thank you. And if you believe in the power to give our defense the ability to pounce on Kyler Murray, well, not like that. Murray's a tiny little annoying redbird that he is. Let's hear an I'm in nice and loud.
I'm in.
If you believe in the power to give our offense the ability to score on the Cardinals like a new rich Latino retiree just moved into retirement home in Arizona, let's hear an I'm in nice and loud.
I'm in.
He's just there for the ladies. Yes! This is the true power, my brethren. Now put those hands down. You look ridiculous. We are loud and proud, my 12s. Our voices, our presence is always felt. Those annoying little redbirds, they think they're all that because they 4-2. But you know what? They're still just a minor nuisance on the way to the promised land. Just a speed bump and hardly a speed bump at all. Cleolanda, get on those keys and play it out like you mean something. Put the drugs down, my dear. That a girl. This has been your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity. Go forth, my brethren. Go forth and spread the good word of Seahawk Positivity. Praise Largent, praise Cortez, praise Walter Jones, praise Kenny Easley. Go Hawks. That's the third quarter. You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
If there's a better use for the internet, I haven't found it.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
All right, it is your fourth and final quarter of this episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. And this quarter is when we sit down, we make our game score predictions, our prognostications, and of course, our game balls for the upcoming game between your Seattle Seahawks and those Arizona Cardinals. Seattle playing in Arizona against the Cardinals at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:20 Seattle time, 12:20 a.m. in merry old England. Numbers for this game, the Seahawks are 3.5-point favorites, and the over-under is set at 56.5. So let's look at our picks. Let's start with Team 12's picks, and Little Mo kicks that off, and he says 33-20 Seahawks. Game ball to Metcalf with two TVs. Two TVs? It's not that kind of game.
Whoa.
2 touchdowns.
Cool.
Yeah. Who knew? Jose, I'm going to say Hawks 34-24. Gary Coleman, Murray, throws us a pick. It's prognostication. Game ball to Carson. Go Hawks. Can you please add that my favorite part of the bye week was seeing Aaron Rodgers getting sacked and knowing how much he was probably enjoying it. Okay. I'll say that.
Say that.
Matt's got a theory about Aaron Rodgers. Matt, what's your theory on Aaron Rodgers?
What you talking about, Willis?
Perfect.
Yeah.
I can.
Enough
It's
said.
our little secret. I can't say anything. You can say something secret about it.
All right. Mike Pascal, toughest match for the defense yet, keeping Kyler's snow flurry, interesting, from blanketing the field with his snowballs from hell. But since each team tends to win on the other's turf, I say we give Larry Fitzgerald. Okay, 34-33 Seahawks. Game ball to Metcalf. Prediction: each team has a touchdown of 20 or more yards. That's a big play touchdown for you guys keeping score. Mark, Cards are going to be tough. At least they look good against a bad Cowboys team, but the Hawks are better. Hawks 31, Cards 27. Game ball to Disley. We'll get hosed by a bad pass interference call, but the Seahawks won't be faced by it. So a bad PI call is what he's going by this time. Ooh. It'll be, one that we have to obviously see was not, but they called it. All right, Carrie. Woo-wee, baby. Let's go. We are on the other side of the bye. I'm out of quarantine, and it's time for the Seahawks football. Congratulations, Carrie, getting out of quarantine.
Yay.
Seahawks 36, Cards 30. Prognostication, the defense put Kyler Murray on a turf twice in the first quarter. That's 2 sacks if you're keeping track. Game ball to Tyler Lockett. Jimmy, Hawks haven't lost in Arizona since 2012. They won't on Sunday. Score will be 31-26 Hawks. Game ball to Lockett. Prognostication Wagner with a pick. Team posse Andy. Seattle 35. Little Red Birdies 28. Carson game ball. Seattle forces 3 turnovers. Chris. Well, we're well rested from we are well rested. Wow, I saw like Elmer Fudd. Well, we're well rested. Well, we are well rested for our journey to the desert and the Indian burial ground that is University of Phoenix Stadium or State Farm Stadium. After a bye week, Russ will be cooking on gas this weekend and will show that he's as good with his legs as he's been with his arms with a running touchdown. That's my prediction. Also, watch out for my game ball Tyler Lockett to feast on the Cardinals secondary who's trying to starve DK Metcalf. With a win of 34-20, Russ serves up a nice barbecue in the desert. Go Hawks. I apologize to Chris because I just stumbled over that whole thing.
Oh,
but
we
there it
feasted
was.
on their secretary. That sounds really...
I know. He's on their secretary. You got Elmer Fudd in there hunting Cardinals.
See, I hit it all, didn't I?
Be very, very quiet. We're hunting secretaries.
All right, so I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to go to Dustin.
Generally a good strategy for all of us.
All of us, yes. Dustin.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just going to write down what you say. I'm not even going to go. I'm just go. Yeah.
Fair enough. So our offense right now is averaging just over 30 points, I believe. I think we're going to stick around that average. I don't see the Cardinals taking us down a notch. So I'll say we'll score 31 points. They'll probably get around 17. So that'll be it, 31-17. Jordan Brooks coming back, I think could be a big deal if his wheel's not a little low, if the air's not low in his tire there. I think he's going to spy Kyler Murray. So I think he's going to have a big game. He'll get my game ball. And then I think that we're going to score a touchdown where it's at least 60-plus yards.
Ooh. 60-plus yard touchdown for the Seahawks. I didn't know. Are they allowed? Are they allowed to take segways out on the field? Because if his tires are low,
They might be.
Wow, what an advantage!
2020.
Yeah. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses.
Will, you got some info for us here? Maybe a prediction, maybe a prognostication, maybe game ball.
Well, I think it's going to be a tight game. I think we are going to prevail by a final score of 33-30. My prognostication, I expect plenty of yards through the air, so I'm prognosticating that both Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf will have over 100 receiving yards.
Woo! Nice.
And I'm kind of with Dustin on the game ball because I think getting Jordan Brooks back is huge. We drafted him in large part for his speed, and games like this are where we're going to need it. So Jordan Brooks gets my game ball because I think we're going to have him keeping an eye on Kyler Murray all evening.
Excellent. No one ever uses the word prevail near as often as they should. Well, use the word prevail.
Indubitably.
Your word usage in this episode has been absolutely extraordinary.
Dude.
I know. Matt. Hello. Hello. What you got for us?
I've got a feeling, Moses.
Uh-oh. I don't like that.
Feeling.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's that positivity.
Yeah. No, it's not gas. It's bad feeling. I'm afraid. I think I'm going to be the boo bird of the group. I'm going to go for the Seahawks 24, Cardinals 28.
Oh.
I'm going to go with it. There will be no game ball because it's going to be a loss, and we don't award a game ball on a loss. And my prognostication: there will be a player ejected in this game.
Wow. You are just Debbie Downer all over.
I am Debbie
He's all
Downer.
pissy that they changed the time slot. Now he can't watch it.
Really annoyed about that. Really annoyed about that.
That's what it is. All right, it's my turn.
Blame the Raiders for that one.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you want you to get mad at the Raiders, man, instead of taking it out on the team.
Sorry.
Ooh, not even hedging your bets by having a game ball. You're just like, no game ball, not going to happen. Nobody.
No, because we don't do it on a loss. You don't give out a game ball on a loss.
So technically, if we lose, you would get the game ball.
Yeah, because there's no game ball.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Interesting.
Wait, one more time from the top.
His prognostication is no game ball, so if we
there
lose,
will be no game ball given out.
So
if there's no game ball given out, he gets a game ball.
No, the prognostication was there'll be a player rejected.
Oh, that's right. But he'll get the game ball. He'll get the game ball
for predicting that there will be no game ball.
Yeah, so there's no game ball. He'll get a game ball.
You get a point. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we will all time travel, probably.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyway, listen, the Seahawks come off a bye week, well rested. Bye week. Sounds like a bye week. I'm doing it. Sounds like a time period in the Key West devoted to our friends who are attracted to both sexes. And I doubt there'd be much rest on that bye week. But I'm digressing. Hey, the Seahawks head back on the road to the Super Bowl, wherever the hell that's going to be. And I found out it was going to be Tampa, but I still don't care. By heading to the Arizona desert. You know, back in the day, I've been to the desert on a horse with no name. Yeah. That's right. You know what? A horse with no name. You know what? I gave the stupid thing a name, all right? If it's got a no name, you know what I did? I gave the stupid horse a name, but I digress. The Seahawks aren't going to ride a horse. They're going to the desert to shoot the Redbirds off their high horses. The Cardinals are 4-2, which on the surface looks intimidating. Before you swat that scorpion. Sounds like something Will does in his night at bed when nobody's around. You swat the scorpion, do you?
I plead the fifth.
All right. It should be pointed out that those 4 wins are against the following. The 3-3 Niners, the 1-5 Washington, whatever the hell they are, the 0-6 Jets, and the 2-4 Cowboys. So doing the math, because we all know Dustin won't, that means that the 4 wins are against teams with a stellar combined record of 6-18. Hardly convincing resume. The Seahawks are 5-0 and are scoring more on Sundays than most priests after Sunday Mass in the back of the pulpit. Yes, I went there. Make your own vision there. The last time the Seahawks lost in Arizona was Russell Wilson's first start. In fact, if Baldwin doesn't bust his teeth in the end zone, we probably would say Wilson has never lost to Arizona in Arizona ever. I'm ignoring that one game against that one team, not the Cardinals in that stadium, but we're not talking about that. Not only that, but the Seahawks are 29-7-1 under Pete Carroll in primetime games, proving once again the Seahawks are truly ready for primetime players. Watch our Seahawks show the Redbirds that they are truly not ready for primetime, as Russell Wilson, who seems born for primetime, throws for 4 touchdowns, my prognostication. 2 of them to DK Metcalf. That's my game ball. Oh, Arizona. It's cute you think you're ready, but like me before many starts of many quarters, I'm not ready. And neither are they. Watch the Seahawks win by a score of Seattle Seahawks 34, Arizona Cardinals 21. And at the end of this game, Kevin Hart is going to be every Arizona fan looking at Kyler Murray, and they're going to say,
No. No. He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready. Book it. Book it. All right. Well, look at the clock on the wall. It's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man fan jam show to a sad close. We're so glad you decided to waste some time with us. We certainly hope you laughed a little. Maybe you learned a little something along the way. What did we learn? Oh, my goodness, the things we learned. We learned that it's possible the Dolphins don't qualify as a football team. We learned that Dustin gets me poppin and lockin. Jets
it's not
can't,
just you.
Yeah, we learned that Jets can't do the football. You don't have to bounce the ball in beer pong. Jello shots. Green is good. Blue is bad. Antonio Brown will not be sending Will any Christmas cards this year. I think that's definite. They only do it a certain days in Arizona, and I would full Elmer Fudd. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our new sound Shadowhawk Will, Stats Mark wherever he is, Dustin as the Beaver, Roger Goodell, Mosette, Little Mo, Jimmy, Chris, Tom Lucas, Jose, Carey, Mark, Ty, Turner, Andy Northern Hawk, Kona, Mike Pascal, Gary Hogaboom, Freddie Joe Nunn, Jim Hart, Kevin Hart, horses with no names. This is Moses saying, until next time, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
It's a 5-inch red finch. What's the big deal?